Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. It is Lean IT Leadership, the key to successful Lean IT transformation. My name is Alexander Mazurek with Quint, Redwood, and I'll be your host during today's session. First off, we're just going to cover a couple of rules for the audience. First off, everybody's on mute, so you can hear us, but we cannot hear you, obviously. Please address any questions that you have on the content of this webinar in the questions panel of the GoToWebinar panel. You should see on the right side of your screen there. We're going to have a designated session at the end in which I will read all of the questions aloud, and our presenter today, Niels, will answer them for all to hear. Please use that same questions panel for any technical issues you may be experiencing. We'll do everything that we can on our end to alleviate any technical problems you may be experiencing. We're going to try and keep the content of today's webinar around 25 minutes for the session and 5 minutes at the end for Q&A. We can keep going a little bit longer if we have a good conversation going. And last off, we are recording this webinar, so if you need to leave early for any reason, you will be sent a recording in the follow-up after this webinar. So now just a little bit about organization before we begin. We are Quint Wellington Redwood. We're a completely independent management consulting firm that is dedicated to improving IT's value to the business. We've been in business for over 20 years now. We started in 1992 over in Amsterdam. But today we've expanded to be a completely global company. We have over 250 consultants operating in 49 countries on just about every single continent. Our core business practices include sourcing, architecture, governance, lean IT, ITSM, and DevOps. We are very proud to say that we've been selected by the IAOP as top global advisor on sourcing and governance for the last 3 years in a row. And last off, we continue to be a trendsetter in the areas of ITSM, lean IT, and DevOps. Now I just want to introduce our presenter today, Niels Loader. He is a principal consultant here with us at Quint, the content board lead at the Lean IT Association, and the chief examiner of Lean IT at APMG. We're very lucky to have him here with us, and without any further ado, Niels, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Alexander. It's nice to be here. And it's great to talk to you about Lean IT leadership. What are we going to talk about today? I'd like to just touch on why it's so important to develop Lean IT leaders, and we'll take a look at what the key elements are of Lean IT leadership, and I'll try and weave in some experience we've had with developing Lean IT leaders during the next 20-25 minutes. Okay, and really, my goal and our goal as Quint is to let you know what it is to take on that Lean IT leadership certification that is currently being offered through or by the Lean IT Association, and what it can basically do for you and your organization. Okay, what problem are we really trying to solve here? Well, if I take my last 15 years worth of experience, I've seen a lot of IT organizations, a lot of IT leaders, managers, executives, and we've all seen that IT has been changing really, really fast. I mean, there's nothing new there. But this really means that we need to have, there's an extra stress on leaders to really help the IT organization forwards. We spent a long time doing things in a particular way, and what you see is that the use of lean is really taking off, whether it's in the form of agile, whether it's in the form of lean IT, or more recently DevOps. These are all methodologies based on lean principles. And so it's very important for leaders to really know about lean and how it works within IT. Now, what I've seen over the last years is there are really very few structured leadership programs for IT leaders and managers. There are very generic programs, but nothing that really helps leaders to lead an IT organization. So this is why it's very important that we have a leadership development program, and this is the Lean IT Association has developed such a curriculum. So leadership plays a fabulous role in IT organizations. I happened to be listening to the radio on the way in this morning, and there was an item about talking about people, how happy people are at work. And in general, here, well, this is particularly here in Holland. You know, the salaries are okay, and people are quite happy with their work. But the greatest source of dissatisfaction is, in fact, the leaders and managers. And you know, my view is that we haven't, particularly in IT, taken the role of leadership in really seriously enough. And so let's go through how we could take it a little bit more seriously and make it work better. You may well have followed the previous some webinars on the Lean IT sequence of trainings. The Lean IT Foundation is obviously the basis. The Kaizen Lead training helps you to do problem solving, a very useful skill in leadership. And for leaders in an IT organization, there is also the Lean IT leadership training. And the idea is that you are then able to, as we said here, lead your new and shiny lean IT machine. So let's have a look. Leadership is often called an art. It's very much to do with the person. But even an artist needs good tools, and I think that's one of the things that the Lean IT leadership provides us with is a structure to help us make sure that we can adhere and learn standards, build new standards, and help the organization to move into a new way of working. So the training provides practical guidance, and it's my experience has been that it's not just useful for starting IT leaders, but also managers, executives who've had a lot of experience in IT. And also experience in leading. It helps as a kind of reset to think about, well, you know, am I doing this the same way as I was doing it 2, 3, 4, 10 years ago? Or do I need to look at my work in a slightly different way? And the experience we've had using this training and using associated leadership tracks is that we've managed to ignite a kind of new desire to lead in a slightly different way. There's a lot of leaders have found it inspiring to go back to school and learn again. So what do you learn in the Lean IT leadership course? Well, this is basically the model that is used. It's a model that's been published by Jeffrey Leiker, a well-known author in Lean, and we found this set of four aspects of committing to self-development, helping others to develop continuous improvement, and ensuring that you develop a vision and communicate goals. This is a very simple but powerful set of four things that really need to be done. But I'm going to take you through those a little bit, but let's just briefly look at the course basics to start with. It's a 3-day interactive course, so there are a lot of exercises, there are a lot of moments for reflection and moments for leaders or potential leaders to talk to each other about how they can best use the tools to develop their skills and to improve their ability to lead IT professionals. And that's really the aim, is to really ensure that each participant goes away with their own personal set of development goals that they aim to achieve. And this is really what the course is about. So what is a Lean IT leader? Well, it's someone who's committed to ensuring that the organization embraces Lean principles and operational excellence as a way of operating. And we like to see leadership in a broader context than just simply saying, okay, I've got my executives, I've got my managers, I've got my team leads. Those are the guys who are, or ladies and gentlemen, who are the Lean IT leaders. We also encourage organizations to look within teams, find people who have who exhibit leadership behavior in a more informal sense. So maybe an architect who is instrumental in making sure that your IT infrastructure is moving in the right direction. And the same kind of skills can be used by these people, and you're getting them ready for a formal leadership role. Okay, let's just have a look. Let's start with the first key moment in the training is this thing that that's called commitment to self-development. And here we start off with an exercise in getting the candidates to really think about how they are going to get the discipline to actually learn, actually take that time out to practice, because every lean IT leader or every IT leader is hugely busy, has loads and loads to do, and where are they going to get the time from to practice what they're learning? And it's all about trying to build a constellation of triggers which will help the leader to identify when there are moments that they need to practice and learn. And through this course, you'll learn things like understanding leader standard work. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Looking at feedback from the work floor, the Gemba. And a very important one is developing what's called a Kaizen mindset, which is really about making sure that you keep looking for problems and stimulating that they get solved. We also look at the development of leaders in terms of saying, well, it's quite normal that the best technical guy gets promoted. This is something that we've been doing for years in IT organizations, and there's no real problem with that. Except we insufficiently pay attention to the top bar, which is gaining exposure across the organization and making sure that depth of understanding in a particular technical area is built out so that it's used usefully across more teams and more technical areas. The first step of a lean IT leader tends to be, as I said, the leader, the team lead of a team of the technical area that they know well. And the important thing then is for that leader to focus on motivation skills and team building skills. And then the next step is to move them to an area where they don't know the technical details, and that they have to use their motivational and team building skills to actually become a successful leader, rather than live off that technical expertise. Okay, so it's a balance of having your roots in a technical specialty and then building out that to have real leadership skills, and then having developed those skills, help others to develop those skills. As I said earlier, there's a thing called leader standard work, and one of the things we see in leader standard work is we help IT managers to actually design their agendas, to design their calendars. What does their work actually look like, and which aspects can be standardized so that we can do them more quickly and more efficiently, and which bits are kind of bespoke. What are the things that we need to, which are different from the rest? One of the things I always stress to managers is that they need to have at least quarter of an hour every morning checking the numbers from the previous day. So do they know how many incidents came in, how many changes were carried out, how many units of work, how much work was actually done yesterday, what were the numbers, what were the lead times, how did we actually do our work? And this can be fully standardized, so that it can be done in literally 10 to 15 minutes. And there are other aspects of looking at of leaders' work that can be standardized, that can be understood, or that it can at least be given a standard place in the manager's calendar, so that it gets done. And it gets the right priority. And then we're talking about things like coaching, those kind of activities. The next step is from based on the commitment that we've shown to develop ourselves. We then want to help others develop. The way we do that is to go to the Gemba. We go to the work floor to actually see what's going on, and there it's all about the basically 6 words: go see, ask why, and show respect. And this is one of the aspects that we spend quite a lot of time on in the training, is really understanding what it means to go to the work floor. I mean, I've seen a number of managers going down to the work floor and going to see what teams are doing, and literally really not knowing what to do when they get down there. They know they need to be visible, they know they need to go to the work floor, but they don't know what to do when they get there. So again, here there's an exercise in what do? You're going to support, teach, and promote the things that you do. So support teams in understanding the problems they're facing, and hopefully help them to remove the impediments that are in their way, that are outside their control. You may, as a leader, need to teach them something. For instance, how to do problem solving in the right kind of way. And you'll take the opportunity to promote the vision and goals that you're trying to achieve. The next step is to understand the mindset of continuous improvement and to stimulate that. This is one that I see as being one of the kind of low-hanging fruit that managers can take on. And it's all about embedding what we've called the Kaizen mindset, which is all about really seeing and prioritizing problems, then taking the time to actually solve them, and then sharing those lessons learned. And this is a really important thing that you see in practice, is when managers take that time to encourage a team to define a problem. If it's a simple problem, you can basically define the solution and carry out that solution on the same day. And as team leads and managers encourage this kind of behavior, you see that it gets a kind of flywheel effect. The teams start doing this more and more and more. As a leader, there are 2 ways to basically ensure that there's continuous improvement, and these both help in creating this Kaizen mindset, which is one of the most important mindsets that you need within an IT organization, simply because things change so much. The first is this daily Kaizen, which is very closely related to the mindset, where we're continuously looking for improvements, even if they're really small and simple. Make a little checklist, create a script, just hang something up on the wall, a picture of something to remind people. It's all about being alert for the issues that are and addressing them straight away. And this is really important behavior that managers and team leads need to learn. The other part is understanding improvement Kaizen, which is all about problem solving. And there we use the DMAIC method. And if you want to learn about that, there's a whole course called the Lean IT Kaizen, which is all about this. And again, that's a great course to really get stuck in deeply into problem solving. When it comes to communicating vision and goals, one of the most powerful tools is visual management. And that doesn't mean to say that it's not useful for all the other things, because it certainly is. It's useful for all kinds of aspects of work. But as a Lean IT leader, you can use the visual management to make sure that you're up to speed on what's going on in the organization, but also help the teams to be up to speed on what they're doing. So making sure that there's the right communication, making sure that we're doing continuous improvement, that it's clear that we're doing that, visualizing performance, having our KPIs up on the wall, and particularly for making sure that we're balancing the workload within the team. And that as a Lean IT leader, you can make sure that this is actually happening, that not one person is doing a lot, whereas the rest is doing not too much. Helping to make sure that these kind of imbalances get addressed. when when we communicate our goals, one of the key skills that, again, that we practice within in the course is the performance dialogue, and this is about ensuring that there is a real quality to the interaction that there is between leader and team members, and maybe in between team members as well. It's really all about just making sure that we highlight what we've achieved and make sure that we're getting at goals, those stretch ambitions in place, and we look at the previous goals and see how we've done. And then it's about giving feedback on the way those objectives were achieved, and maybe there were more effective ways of doing that, and offering support to team members in achieving those goals. And performance dialogues can be one-to-one, but they can also be the leader talking to an entire team. When we do a day start or when we do a week start, this is all about doing a performance dialogue. And only the challenge is a little bit greater because you're talking about the objectives of a team rather than just of an individual. And these are things that we discuss and practice within the leadership training. The last aspect is maybe one of the most important, because it's all about bringing those four aspects together and making sure that you actually take the steps that you need to take, which is making sure that you've got a lean transformation in your organization and ensuring that it sticks. So we discuss how you can go about building your leadership track, subsequently building the lean transformation, how you could carry that out in the form of waves with various numbers of teams per wave, and how you then build from that into cycles of continuous improvement. And this is a very important kind of thinking exercise that we do with the people in the training, to make sure that they feel confident about when they go back to their organizations that they can actually get that transformation working properly. Obviously, we discuss the bits and pieces that come along with that, which is that there's a transformation is not a straight line. You will come across people who don't want to help. You will come across people who are very enthusiastic, but in all cases, people will go through a roller coaster of emotions during a lean IT transformation. And if you're prepared for that, you can really help people to get through those more disappointing parts of the transformation, and help people to see a future for themselves in the organization, working in a slightly different way, but making sure that they can contribute with the organization. Well, and really the last thing we do is making sure that the leader creates their own change story. And the change story we've found in transformations is one of those tools that leaders keep in their back pocket and really need every time they do their elevator pitch, every time they meet a person or there are questions asked. That change story provides the basis, the continuity in the story, the reason why you're making this lean transformation within your IT organization. So this is quite an important exercise at the end of the course. So all in all, what we've seen in the first few courses that we've done, these have been particularly in company and have been followed up with what we call a leadership track. So we're giving the basic start with the training, and then taking time every week to discuss aspects that leaders come across and really help them to achieve their transformational operational goals. So the training is very much a starting point. It's all about learning. It's all about making sure that you really start having a lot of fun in what you do as a leader. And that's one of the overriding sentiments that I've found with when in helping leaders or IT leaders to really take on lean as a philosophy, is that they start having a lot more fun because they start getting good at it. Then they start seeing the results in teams, taking their accountabilities and really pushing the envelope in terms of their performance. So, is it all plain sailing? No, it certainly isn't. But it is. It does have a lot of fun moments where you see that a lot of leaders have been treading water for too long. I can strongly recommend the Lean IT leadership training to everybody, and not just because we provide it, but because it really gives you a boost in your leadership capabilities. That's really all I wanted to talk to you about today. I was wondering whether there are any questions, Alex.
Yes, thank you, Neil. So, we did have a couple questions during the course of the webinar. The first one here is, what has your initial feedback been on the course?
Yeah, it's been positive. Fortunately, I think that's also because we've had the innovators and early adopters who are very interested in using this material. But I've also had a couple of cynics in the class who have certainly changed their view after by the end of the course, and have really seen how they can benefit, and their style of leadership can benefit based on based on the skills and the tools and the overall philosophy that we provide.
Okay, and this one's sort of like a two-parter. How quickly has Lean IT been growing, and do you know how many certifications have been taken?
The number of certifications, I'm not actually sure at this particular moment in time. I do know that there are, because DevOps is becoming such a, well, I don't want to use the word hype because I think it's something that's here to stay. I think you find that people are seeing that lean principles that underlie DevOps are causing a very rapid growth in the interest for lean IT. At least that's what we're seeing, particularly from a project perspective. Lean is going is part of pretty much everything that we do, and training is growing at the same kind of pace.
Okay. And is the Lean IT curriculum managed by an overseeing body, or is the course developed and managed strictly by Quint?
Now, the curriculum is a Lean IT Association thing. Quint has basically nothing to do with that. Quint just creates a training course based on the material, the curriculum created by the Lean IT Association, which is basically filled with Lean IT professionals. It has an advisory board including people like Mike Orson. So it's basically a recognized body, and they basically have the oversight over the curriculum and the syllabus, and the publications that get made. And then there are exam institutes that basically ensure that the quality of the training material, the trainers, and the accredited training organizations is okay. So that's and Quint just falls under that regime of the exam institutes in requiring quality.
Okay. And I think this will be the last question if no one else asks a question after this one, which is, how's the response been from employees from their managers doing Gemba walks?
That's a good one. Yeah, it's the first time there's a lot of kind of shocked faces and kind of especially if it happens without the team being told that this is what's going to happen. But with perseverance, as in the manager not just doing it once, but coming round regularly and showing their face, and the acceptance goes very, very quickly, especially when you see that leaders really start contributing. As in they're saying that they're actually helping to remove impediments. They're helping to remove blockages that cause the team to not be able to complete their task properly. And when that happens, you start seeing this snowball effect of people being very, very happy with what the manager's doing and what the team leads are doing.
All right, perfect. And Niels was mentioning the Lean IT Association earlier. You can actually find information on that at the leanitassociation.com. And there's also another knowledge network called DASA, the DevOps Agile Skills Association, where there is a program being developed for DevOps and Agile as well. I highly recommend everyone to check that out. That is DevOpsAgileSkills.org. And if you'd like to learn how to get started with Lean IT, or even ask for Niels directly to cover the program or any questions that you may have, always feel free to contact us. There's all the methods right there. We are active on just about every single social media network, especially LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. You can see the latest announcements on webinars that we are having, articles, white papers being released all the time. Please follow us on there. And that's all I wanted to cover today, everyone. Thank you, Niels, again for the great presentation, and I hope everybody has a great rest of your day wherever you are around the world. Bye-bye.